Hey YouTube, so this week on Witch Please, I wanted to speak about the magical uses of spices and herbs from the witch's kitchen. Now, I have wanted to talk about this for a while, but the last time I recorded this series of videos, my laptop had a meltdown, which took all the recorded videos along with it. So I am having to record them all from scratch. So I really hope you like this series. And if anyone should happen to come across another spice rack like this with these amazing vintage spice jars, let me know. I want more. I'm actually hoping to find 3 more of these because it's and then go like that. And I was hoping to connect them all together so they form a circle. I would remove this top bit and put it on a Lazy Susan with a utensil crock in the middle. So that is why I'm looking for 3 more of these unusual little spice rack contraptions. But anyway, on to my vlog. Hi YouTube, so I wanted to post a bit of an addendum to my way too long video all about lavender from yesterday. And if you haven't watched it yet, I really hope you do. You don't have to watch it in one sitting, but I do think I posted quite a bit of good information in it, as well as my own recipe for my friendship spell, which is just my brown butter chocolate chip cookies with lavender. I hope you make them. I hope you love them to death because I certainly love them. They are a big hit whenever I go to a pagan potluck, which hasn't been for quite a few years since I was unceremoniously banned. And I didn't do anything wrong. The high priestess involved, she who shall not be named, just really took it upon herself to ban me from her as a Facebook friend. She is extremely egotistical, very ego-driven. So, more power to her. I could care less. I don't want any drama in my life because lavender is not about drama. It is about peace of mind and really finding that zen spot that you just love to be in and to curl up with it. And so I was in a bit of a mood this morning, and I thought to myself, gee, Wade, if there is a famous lavender farm in the Loess Hills in extreme western Iowa, why the hell don't they have a locally renowned lavender festival? So I posted that on Facebook. Okay, now I need to take my foot out of my mouth because they do. They have been having an annual lavender festival since 2015, only a couple of years ago. I checked their website hoping they might have a specific date for the lavender festival because they wanted to time it for when their lavender farm is most in bloom. Unfortunately, they only give you a general timeline for the festival, which is in mid-July. It is now late July, so it probably has already taken place. I would like to ask them after this if they can provide me with a more specific date so I could hopefully plan a trip there to attend the festival and maybe even film some videos for my YouTube channel there, perhaps even making some cookies for the owners of the farm, and perhaps even having them share with me how they make their world famous or almost world famous lavender sugar cookies. That would be really interesting. In fact, I would love to go down there with a bunch of friends, hint, hint, and just have a day of it. Maybe even, bring some food along and have a picnic there at the farm. That would be really nice. But it was while I was perusing the farm's website that I discovered, it was while perusing the farm's website that I discovered that a couple years ago, their almost entire crop of lavender had been decimated by the winter. It never came back in March, and it was their Hitco lavender, I believe. There are two species of lavender that I know of, anyway. Well, now three, but two species that I was familiar with before now is the Hitco and the Mumstead variety, which are both two English types of lavender. And I tried planting lavender several times over the years. Unfortunately, they never thrived past the winter. They died during the winter and they never came back, which is unfortunate because I love lavender. I would love to be able to harvest my own lavender for my use as a herbalist, as a witch, to infuse in honeys, to use in my own baked goods like my my lavender chocolate chip cookies, or even to infuse in compound butters for use in lavender meringues or lavender sablés, which is a French butter cookie. And it was while I was perusing their blog that they mentioned a new species of lavender that I had never heard of before, which is because it's only been around since about 2012 here in the U.S., and it is called Phenomenal. Now, the species of Phenomenal is hardy up to zone 5, and I happen to be in zone 5A, which is awesome because, as I said, I have not been able to get lavender to thrive here in my home state, which I would love to be able to do, to be able to grow it every year and not have to actually buy it. I would love to see it in more witches' gardens because I also think that a lot of witches here have an equally tough time of growing lavender in their yards, in their own witches' gardens. And this just happens to be the remaining lavender honey from the last batch of lavender that I grew about 5 or 6 years ago, I think it was. I know I have crappy lighting, but it doesn't look as bad as you think it might. It's still extremely aromatic. Lavender is a natural antimicrobial, as is honey. Honey will not develop bacteria unless it's diluted with too much water, because it's the water that will allow the bacteria to thrive. And there isn't enough water in honey for bacteria to start growing. But I have had some honey jars look pretty scary. They have looked like some really nasty, frightening science experiments. So all you have to do when that happens is just pop the jar, taking the top off, of course, and the ring, and just throwing it either in the microwave for a few seconds just to warm up those crystals, or you can just throw it in a warm water bath on top of the stove for several minutes until those crystals break down and melt and reabsorb into the bulk of the honey. But I am really pleased to find out about this new variety of lavender. I have absolutely got to go out and try and find someplace that sells it. Like one of the big box chain stores such as Lowe's or Home Depot. That's it, Home Depot. I've got to look online to see if either of them carry this species, or if they don't, if they can start carrying it, especially in the Midwestern states like Iowa, where we would love to grow lavender at. The last lavender I grew, I bought from Earl May, and it was this really big Earl May store in Des Moines. But I asked I asked one of the managers on hand if she had any advice for ensuring that the lavender thrived through the winter so that it would grow back the following spring. And she was very, very rude, very curt with me, and said no, and basically treated me like I was stupid. which is unfortunate because my mom actually had a very similar encounter with the other manager there, whom I believe was her husband. After several bushes she had bought from them didn't even last a month. They died shortly after planting, and he essentially tried to blame it on her, tried to make her sound stupid, when in fact it was not her fault. It was just the plant itself. She believes that they may have had a problem with the crops because she was led to believe by something that had been said that it was larger than just herself. That many people had been going back complaining about their plants dying shortly after they were planted. So I typically don't go back to that army anymore. Thankfully, there are others in Des Moines from which to choose, and the staff at those have been much nicer, especially when you get some that have a lot of grandmas in there that really like to garden. I love chatting with those women. They are so nice, so warm and kind. But yeah, so I guess the point of the story is I would love to check out the Lavender Festival at the Loess Hills. I would love to check out the new species Phenomenal Lavender, which has just been started since 2012 by the Peace Tree Farm, I believe. I'll include a link to all these places in the show notes. The lavender, the Phenomenal Lavender, was actually tested by the company that created the hybrid in Minnesota and Michigan to test its winter hardiness and its tolerance to the summer heat and humidity. I would love to ask this company if they have tested its drought tolerance as well, because some months in Iowa can be extremely drought ridden. So I would like to know if I would need to go out and water it by hand during those very dry, hot weeks. And I just discovered a new website that I adore called garden.org. I'll also post a link to it down below. Actually, post your zip code into the search engine on this website and find out what specific gardening or planting zone you were in. Because some states like Iowa, like my area of Iowa, if you look at any zoning maps, it's very wonky, very curvy, and you can't really tell where your zone is and where the next zone begins or ends. So that's extremely helpful. I learned that I am actually in zone 5A, at least from the maps published in 1990. I'm not sure if the maps have actually been updated since then, but it would be nice to know. As always, and I really hope this isn't boring you, but I wouldn't support this book if I didn't wholeheartedly believe in it. So if you go out and about, if you're looking for a new fabulous book on herbal magic, I can recommend none better than Anna Franklin and Susan Lavender's 1996 book, Herbcraft. It tends to explore the folkloric, the historical, and the magical uses of herbs throughout the centuries. So totally go to either the Castle Band website or jdhomes.com and buy a copy of this book. Support these authors because this is an invaluable resource until my book comes around. But still, it's still a pretty awesome resource. In fact, when my book is finally finished and published, I was planning on giving this book to a friend, or maybe even auctioning it off. But considering how long I've had this book, how much this book has meant to me, I really don't think I can do that anymore. It's become sort of an extension of me. I have so many fond memories of using this book. I have so many notes written in it. It is clearly careworn that I just can't get rid of it anymore. I have to keep it. It will be a permanent fixture in my personal library. Although, if the publisher is watching this and they would like to give me a new copy, perhaps even 2 copies, one that I can keep and one that I can give to a subscriber who is watching this during a giveaway. That would be awesome. I'm not, asking them to do so, but if they want, I will totally accept the offer. But yeah, that has been my little I Heart Lavender spiel part 2. Until next time, keep calm and witch on. Okay, guys, so my dough is chilled. I also wanted to mention that the reason I usually chill my cookie dough overnight because it deepens the flavor.